Welcome to the Adeptus of the Brush. Now, in post-production, this is what the final model is going to look like. I'll put this up at the start of each of the parts so you can see it. And if people would like to see a condensed time-lapse of the whole painting process reduced down without the waffling, I'm more than happy to put one up if people leave a comment and tell me that's what they want to see. So, unfortunately, there are quite a few parts to this video. It's quite a long process, so this is one of the parts, and you'll see this at the beginning of the following parts as well until the final reveal. If you like what you've seen, please leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment. Right, I've shifted the focus around a little bit just to zoom this out a little bit to make it easier to see what we're about to do. And what I'm going to do is use just a little bit of typhus corrosion. Don't need to change the water. The water hasn't got any metallics in it. It's just a bit of dyes and inks. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to dirty this up a little bit. And we're pretty much finished. We've got 3 colours left to put on. First of which will be the typhus corrosion. Then we're going to put on the Duncan Rhodes iron oxide, rust, and the verdigris, just to finish this off. So first of all, I've got to find the typhus corrosion. I'm going to give it a good shake. Now, I tend to do this in several stages. First thing I want to do is just get the side where I'm about to put this typhus corrosion wet so that I can deal with any mistakes or any runs over. So the first thing I'm going to do is just wet where I'm going to apply this so that it's easier to blend out, move about if I need to. I will use a slightly older brush because this stuff will wreck your brushes. I'm just going to drip this in at the bottom along this edge. Not going to be trying too careful. And get it on the bottom of the tracks, onto the spokes, onto the wheels. And now that it's on there, just cut a little bit onto that one. Now that it's on there, I'm now going to use a wetted brush and I'm just going to move this about a little bit. And give you some extra lighting, make it easier to see what's going on. So literally, that's all we're going to do on the bottom there. Turn it around and just try to blend everything together a little bit better. So just get it wet. And where we've got a couple of little mistakes, we can always use this to wipe those out. So just slop this on in a few places. So now it's on. Take the other brush, get it wet, just move it around. If you're not happy with it, as I say, I tend to do this, I wet the surface first before I put this on, because you tend to get a dry mark wherever you've left it up to if you don't pre-wet the surface. But doing this, you can come in again and again and again. So, same process, just run some water onto the track. Do one track at a time and show you how I'm doing this. I'm literally just slapping it on. I'm not taking any real care with it. I'm just literally loading the surface I'm about to wet with a lot of water. Not going to worry about the underside. And then again, I'm just going to run this down the middle. Now that's on there, now I'll take the other brush wet it, and just move it about. After all, this is supposed to be simulating mud. Mud is random. It doesn't always look the same in every place, and consequently it doesn't matter if it looks a bit patchy and a bit random. I'm not going to worry about the other side of the tracks. Nobody can see them. I might do the edge of the track, but that's different to doing the main body of the track. So just the bottom edge, just because that's where we're sitting in the mud. And again, don't need to do more than that. It's the same process the other side. Wet the track. And then, same process, come back in with typhus corrosion. And so I'm layering it in the middle of the track purely because that's the bit that's going to pick mud up, but at the same time it's the recesses. It's more likely to get stuck there than on the top bits where it's liable to wear away as it goes over various different surfaces. So it's the recesses that are going to collect this, and it's going to sit in. So just pulling this pigment out to the edges a little bit, blending it out. Now again, bottom of the track, and on this one I just want to add a little bit more. Not so happy with how much is on there. Just want to bump it up a little bit. So that dirts down the tracks. We're going to end up with residues all over the top. So for that, I'm just going to take the larger brush we were using yesterday and just give the surface a wetting. I'm not looking to paint the surface, I'm just looking to get some water on the surface so that I can more or less use the typhus corrosion as an ink rather than as a paint. If I do it like this, it'll help. So just dab it in a few places. Doesn't need to be all over. Just in a couple of places where you think that mud's going to collect and sit and pool up, and like this whole middle bit, I'm going to say, yeah, that's going to collect stuff down there. A little bit more in a few other places. And now all I'm going to do is come round and feather out some of that. It just makes it look like dirt's collected in places, and it makes it look less clean. Now we've got the same thing to do with the drill. And the drill, we are going slightly different. First thing I want to do is do each of these panels the same way we did yesterday with the inks. So first of all, get the whole panel wet. Then into the corners with the typhus. Then with another brush, blend it out. Turn it, do the next one, same process. this is more the underside one, so this would probably be loaded more than the others. Into the corners. Blend it out. Right round. Wet surface. Typhus into those corners. And again. Blend it out. So I'm going to leave that part of it to dry before I douse the rest of it. So I'm going to hit it up with an air dryer at the moment, try and dry this up a little bit, and I should be back shortly. So we've got that dried off at the moment. I'll get this ready to run, so I want to use that in just a sec. What I'm going to do is hold the drill by the opposite end now, so we're done with this part. What I want to do is just coat and tank the bottom part of the drill with enough typhus corrosion that it actually looks like this thing's actually been in the ground and been pulled out multiple times. So the idea is I'm literally just going to load the surface so that it's wet. It's all had some water over it, and then I just could dose it with some typhus, and that will finish the look that I'm trying to acquire. And yeah, it's not going to be pretty at first. In fact, I think I'm actually going to use this to load it. So let's just slap it on. Works better this way. More you slap it on. So because I want this stuff to look like it's mud and it's collected in the recesses, this is the really bizarre bit that some people are like, oh, what are you doing? Right, I'm going to leave that there. Get a nice wodge of kitchen towel. What I'm going to do is literally where I paint bit, dab it, grip it, and pull it away. And this gives a very much more patchy effect. So it looks random now. So I'm going to dry it off, get it dry, and we can put the next coat on. So we're almost finished. We've got two more colours to put on, which are the verdigris. I think it's trying to remember the name of it now. I think it's Nihilakh verdigris or Nihilakh oxide, and the other one is the Duncan Rhodes iron oxide rust ink wash. So I'm just going to get this dry and I'll be back in a sec. Right, I've put some dirty down verdigris on and see if it'll actually do what I want. I had a look afterwards. I had been using it right. I just suspect I may not have shaken the bottle sufficiently to get it to work properly. I may have to put another steel ball bearing in it. If I'm still not happy with it at the end of this, I may come back and put in some Nihilakh oxide just to try and sort out. What I want to do is put some what looks like scorch marks or soot in a couple of places. I just want it on these vent panels on the side. So I've just got a little bit of black onto a sponge, and I'll just try and dab it where I want this sort of black sooty charring mark looking. So we're not going to see it on the underside. a little bit more black. So just a couple of dabs onto the vents, just to make it look like there's some soot there. Just give it a little bit of charring. It's just a bit of variation in the colour. It's not a huge amount, but with each one of these little things, they add up to increasing the look of the detail of the model. We've got a little bit of work to correct some of the gold. Just some excessive runs that we need to deal with. So I'm just going to get a little bit of a similar colour to our base colour. Just come in and attack some of these more excessive bits that we need to get rid of. And again, it looks patchy, I don't, it's part of the appeal. It doesn't look so uniform. Not going to worry about the underside. You know, see the underside of the drill. Just that little run there, you will see. And just to add some variety colour. So I'm happy with that. So that verdigris, we'll leave that, see if that develops into anything. I'm not enamoured by it at the moment. I haven't tried to do it down rust, but we'll give that a go at some point. But yeah, it's look more like a green oil residue than what I want. So wherever I put my Duncan Rhodes. Come on, Duncan, where are you? There you are. This stuff is beautiful. This is Duncan Rhodes Tin Thin Coats Iron Oxide, and it's already an ink. So I'll show you how runny it is. Just put some out on the table. It's ink. It's runny as hell, and I'll be honest, Duncan did a marvellous job with this stuff, because it really is hot sauce. So I can literally dab it in, and I'll leave it on these top edges just because I want it to look like it's run down. Yeah, I picked up a set of Duncan Rhodes technical paints, and I've slowly been working my way through using all of them. But if you're going to pick up just one of his paints, I would thoroughly recommend this one. Of all of them, it really is special sauce, this stuff. It makes making rust marks so much quicker. And literally, I'll just show you, I'm literally just going to go blink, 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 blink. Dab it in a few places. I don't need to do more than that. It's just adding a hint. And that's all we're doing with it. Adding a hint. Turn it around. Same thing the other side. couple of, maybe not there. Might be where we put the Nihilakh in a minute. Just a couple of little hints, that's all. That's all it had to be. And come in, if anywhere I'm not happy, just thin it out. Yeah, it looks like that's part of the mechanism that's rusting. So, the last little detail I'm going to do is, I think I've got a more viable pot of this Nihilakh oxide somewhere. This is what I tend to use for verdigris. I find it a little bit better than the stuff we were just looking at. As I haven't played with dirty down rusts before, it's a new product to me. Whereas this is old school tools. I know what I'm doing with this stuff. Just wet the surface. Don't want paint to stick, so having wetted it, just going for the corner recesses. That way I can use gravity to help move the paint. So that'll do on that side. Just show you what I'm doing. So I'm just wetting more or less the whole part. Now come in with a Nihilakh and just into the corners. And because we've wetted it already, the oxide will just spread along those lines and will give something that looks a little bit more realistic. I do the same with this midsection up here, just because I ain't happy with the way that dirty down rust ended up coming out. It should have developed more strong colour by now. So just going to get that part wet. And we are going to be finished in about 30 seconds. So just want to make sure these have got some colour around them. And that's one of the advantages of flooding the part. These pigments will tend to move along where there is a gradient, where there is water, so it will pull along the joints and stuff in a far more authentic and natural looking way. Right, we're just going to leave that to dry now. I'll show you the finished results when we come back.